The sun had barely risen over the quiet Nigerian village when Chidima would wake up to the sound of roosters crowing. Her mother, a hard-working woman with weary hands, would already be outside, tending to the morning chores. Life in the village was predictable, simple but unchanging. For most, this was enough. But not for Chidima. Even as a child, she knew she was different. While other girls her age played in the dusty streets, dreaming of marriage and family, Chidima was fascinated by the world beyond the village. She would listen to travelers passing through, soaking in stories of Lagos, Abuja, and places she had only seen in magazines. She had a hunger for something greater, something no one in her village could understand. A dream too big for tradition. Her father, a strict man who valued tradition above all else, had already planned her future. She was to marry a respected young man from a nearby village and settle down, as was expected of every woman. Education was not a priority for girls, he often said. Their duty was to raise children and take care of the home. But Chidima had other plans. She spent nights reading by the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, borrowing books from a retired schoolteacher who had once lived in the city. She studied business concepts she barely understood at first, writing down ideas in a tattered notebook. She watched how the village traders bargained in the market, learning the art of negotiation. When she turned 18, she made a decision that shook her entire family. She was leaving for Lagos. Breaking free. Her father was furious. He forbade her from going, warning that the city was dangerous and unkind to women. Her mother wept, begging her to reconsider. The village gossiped about how she would bring shame to her family. But Chidima was unmoved. One evening, after saving up just enough money from small sewing jobs, she packed her things into a single bag, hugged her mother tightly, and boarded a rickety bus to Lagos. She had no plan. No connections. Just a burning desire to succeed. The harsh reality of Lagos. The moment she stepped off the bus, she realized Lagos was nothing like the stories she had heard. The streets were loud, chaotic, and unforgiving. She wandered the busy markets and towering buildings, overwhelmed by the size of the city. Finding work was nearly impossible. Without experience or qualifications, she was turned away at every shop and office she visited. Nights were spent sleeping in cramped, overcrowded rooms. She went days without a proper meal. There were moments when she questioned her decision. Was her father right? Had she been foolish to dream so big? But Chidima refused to give up. She started selling second-hand clothes in the market, using the little money she had left to buy fabrics and resell them. She learned the trade quickly, waking before dawn to set up her small store. She bargained with customers, built relationships with suppliers, and slowly began making a profit. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Betrayal and the cost of trust. After months of struggle, Chidima finally saw a breakthrough. She had saved enough money to expand her business. She rented a small shop, hired an assistant, and designed her own clothing line. But success attracts both admirers and opportunists. A close friend, someone she trusted, offered to help her grow her business. He convinced her to invest all her savings in a promising deal, promising huge returns. Blinded by ambition, Chidima agreed. Days turned into weeks, then months. The investment never materialized. Her so-called friend disappeared without a trace. She was devastated. Everything she had worked for was gone. For the first time since leaving her village, she considered going back. Maybe her father was right. Maybe she was never meant to succeed. Rising from the ashes. But something deep inside her refused to quit. Instead of running back in defeat, she started over. This time, she was wiser. She studied the fashion industry more closely, connected with local designers, and rebuilt her brand, one step at a time. She worked day and night, designing clothes that reflected the vibrant culture of Nigeria. Social media became her tool for marketing, and soon, people started noticing. Orders poured in. Her designs were featured in fashion shows. Investors came knocking. Chidima had not just rebuilt her business, she had created an empire. The price of power. Years later, standing in the grand office of her thriving company, she reflected on her journey. She had wealth, power, and influence. She had changed the lives of many young women who once faced the same struggles she did. But success had come at a cost. She had lost friendships. She had sacrificed sleep, comfort, and years of her youth. She had faced betrayal, heartbreak, and failure. Yet, as she looked at the empire she built, she knew one thing for sure: power is never given, it is earned. And for those willing to pay the price, the reward is worth it.